Let's dive into some rumors swirling around the NCAA transfer portal, the spring window transfer portal. Today, we're focusing on three players making waves in the Big Ten: Nitro Tuggle, Tamir Robinson, and Brendan Sullivan. These guys are shaking things up, and we've got the scoop, everything you want on where these guys might land. First up, let's talk about Nitro Tuggle, the former Georgia wide receiver who's got Big Ten teams on his radar. The 6'1", 190-pound sophomore from Napanee, Natim, however you pronounce it. He's from Indiana, okay? He's a former four-star recruit who's already shown flashes of brilliance. Tuggle entered the transfer portal this spring, and right now, the two schools leading the race are Purdue and Indiana, right? Right now, it looks like Purdue is probably the front runner, and it makes sense. The Boilermakers have been aggressive in the portal, recently landing Indiana native Corey Smith from Tulsa and the former Boilermaker QB, bringing him back from North Carolina. Ryan Brownie is coming back home to Purdue to be their presumed starting quarterback this season. Head coach Barry Odom told us that he would bring in a number of players to West Lafayette, and Tuggle could be the next piece for them. On3 says Tuggle is visiting Purdue this Monday, which is a huge sign and that they're serious about him and want him to come. Purdue's passing game could use an X receiver like Tuggle. His size, his speed could make plays more difficult for the defense downfield. Now, let's talk about Tuggle's game a little bit. At Georgia, he played in only 8 games as a true freshman in 2024, recording 3 catches for 34 yards, and his best performance came against Tennessee, where he hauled in 2 passes for 25 yards and grabbed one at the and graded out, I apologize, as the third highest offensive player in Georgia's big win. That's no small feat for the freshman, right? Going against SEC competition, defenses, which everybody loves to talk about how it's just basically the NFL. But anyway, whatever. Georgia's receiver room took some hits last season with Ra Thompson's dismissal and Colby Young's legal issues, so Tuggle stepped up late in the year. His teammates raved about his release, his ability to compete. Tuggle is from Indiana, though, which makes his recruitment for these teams make even more sense. Back at Northwood High in Indiana, he was a beast, racking up 173 receptions for 2,800, nearly 2,900 yards and 41 touchdowns in his prep career. He was the number 3 recruit in the state of Indiana in the 2024 class and ranked as the number 62 receiver in the transfer portal by On3. This guy's got the pedigree to make an instant impact, but don't count out Indiana. The Hoosiers are a legit contender here too. Going to Bloomington would be a homecoming for him. 24/7 Sports' Tom Loy has flagged Indiana as a school to watch in this situation. Indiana's got a lot of momentum under Kirk Cignetti, and their offense could use a dynamic playmaker like Tuggle. I think they're probably wanting more of a slot guy, but who knows? You just keep bolstering up the room, and he's a young guy. Develop him, and things could look good for them. Syracuse and Texas Tech are also in the mix here, but right now it's looking like probably a Boilermaker Hoosier battle. Whichever one wins, he gets a bucket, I guess, right? That's what they do there. So why is Tuggle transferring? Well, it hasn't been all smooth sailing in Georgia. This spring, he was arrested for reckless driving and speeding, or was it last spring? One of those two, which led to his suspension for the rest of spring practice. Georgia coach Kirby Smart finally decided to do something about the off-field issues, and that might have played a role in Tuggle's decision to hit the portal. When you do something about some guys but not other guys, it is what it is. He also flirted with transferring after the SEC championship, but stayed for Georgia's Sugar Bowl loss to Notre Dame. Make sure to remind you guys about that one, where he didn't get a single catch. With all that in mind, a fresh start in the Big Ten could be exactly what he needs. Come on back to the Big Ten. Stop going down south, boys. All right, stay in the Big Ten if you're up here up north. Just do it. Makes more sense. Next, we got Tamir Robinson, a linebacker from Penn State who's turning heads in the transfer portal. 6'3", 230-pound freshman, currently visiting USC, and that's got Big Ten fans raising their eyebrows. Some Big Ten on Big Ten action here. Robinson was a 4-star recruit and the number 2 player in Pennsylvania in the class of 2023, so losing him isn't going to impact the Nittany Lions much this year, but could in future seasons. Robinson played in 14 games for Penn State in 2024, posting 11 tackles, 1.5 tackles for loss, and he was expected to take a big step forward this fall, especially with Penn State's linebacker room losing key contributors, Kobe King being one of them. Coach Franklin called him a big get and said that he was flashing in spring practice. Moving over my words, I apologize. But injuries have been a setback for Robinson, who missed his entire senior year out of high school and didn't quite find his groove at Penn State. Now, Robinson's out west, checking out USC. The Trojans are looking to bolster their linebacker depth, and Robinson's length and athleticism make him a perfect fit. On3 ranks him as the number 7 linebacker in the portal, which is impressive in the spring portal window to be ranked that high, and his high school tape shows a guy who can track down plays and even play in space. USC's not expecting him to start right away. Eric Gentry, Desmond Stevens, the second in the mix as well, but he could be a key piece for their 3 linebacker set against run-heavy Big Ten teams and also possibly battle for a starting spot. We'll see. Robinson's visit to USC is a big deal, as Zack told us in the transfer portal, in the transfer portal show, that USC would be looking at linebackers. Other schools that could jump in, it'll be interesting to see. It will be interesting to see what other schools jump in here as well. If Penn State could possibly try to lure him back. For now, USC looks to be the team to beat. And finally, let's talk about a quarterback, right? Quarterbacks are always interesting. Brendan Sullivan, remember him? Iowa quarterback. He's got some Michigan interest as well, and Michigan fans are feeling a little indifferent about this one, I would say. This 6'4", 220-pound graduate transfer from Davison, Michigan is a dual threat signal caller with 1 year of eligibility left. Michigan has reached out to him, and On3's Pete Nako says the Wolverines are interested in adding depth to the quarterback room. I don't know if Brendan Sullivan is interested in being depth, but we'll have to see. Michigan's quarterback situation is a bit shaky right now. They've got only 2 healthy quarterbacks this spring, Jaden Davis and 5-star freshman Bryce Underwood. Mikey Keene, a winter portal addition, has been banged up, and Davis Warren is still out with his torn ACL. Sullivan could be the veteran presence they need. Some are speculating he would come in and be the starter, but the dude was behind Cade McNamara last year, so I can't imagine he surpasses Bryce Underwood. In 2024 at Iowa, he started 3 games after McNamara went out. He completed 38 of 53 passes for 475 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 3 picks. He also ran for 150 yards for 4 scores, showing his dual threat ability. Sullivan's got experience having played at Northwestern from 2021 to 2023 before transferring to Iowa to join Tim Lester. In his career, he's completed 69.4% of his passes for 1,800 yards. Forget exactly what it was. And 13 touchdowns. He's by no means a superstar, but he's a reliable depth option who can theoretically compete for a starting job, but in reality, he's a backup rather than a challenger to Bryce Underwood, in my opinion. But with the Wolverines' quarterback injuries, he could be a valuable insurance policy. Michigan's not the only school in this race as well. Sullivan's visiting Tulane next week, and Virginia Tech has also reached out. Those could be possible starting opportunities, but his dad did play at Michigan as an offensive lineman, so there's a connection there. But Sullivan's priority seems to be finding a place where he wants to start, which I don't see anything wrong with that. You want to start. You've been at 2 different schools. That's probably not Michigan, though. Tulane might offer an easier path to the QB1 role, but the family connection could play a role too, which makes this an interesting one to watch. And that's what we'll be doing as we bring you the latest on Big Ten transfer portal rumors, visits, all that stuff. Who do you think these guys go to? Who do you think lands them? Drop your predictions in the comments.